Hello, this is Victoria Nalule, and here with me is Miss Tuli from Namibia. Guys, this is my first female guest, and she is a very experienced young African lady. She has lots of experience working in the mining sector. She has just completed her master's degree, still in the mining sector. So today's discussion will focus more on Namibia, mining in Namibia. And Tole will give us a brief overview of the mining sector in Namibia, and also she will tell us about the opportunities and challenges in that sector. Ms. Tole, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Thank you so much, Victoria, for having me today. So my name is Tuliikeni Ndadi. I'm from Namibia. I am a Namibian. I just recently completed my master's degree in International Mineral Resources Management at the University of Dundee here in Scotland. And my background is I'm a mining engineer. I completed my studies in Namibia at the Namibia University of Science and Technology. And I have a variety of experience in the mining industry during my courses. So I was privileged enough to work with a lithium mine, Desert Lion Energy in Namibia. And then I also worked with a diamond mine, De Beer, Namdeb, in Namibia as well. And then I also just recently had the opportunity to work with the London Metal Exchange here in London.
Wow, thank you very much for the introduction.
Thank you.
As I told you, she has vast experience, and yes, she is a young African lady, an engineer for that matter. So, would like to discuss the mining sector in Namibia. You've worked and you've also studied about the sector. So could you give us a brief overview of mining in Namibia?
All right. So the mining sector in Namibia has been in existence ever since the 1970s and has played a major role to the economy of Namibia ever since independence in 1990. And currently, it's recorded to contribute at least 12.2% to the GDP in 2017, recorded. And also, currently, it employs about 2.2% of the country's workforce. In terms of export revenues, the mineral sector contributes 50% of the export revenues of the country. And of that 50%, a significant amount, let's say 50% of those revenues, are contributed by diamonds. With that being said, Namibia has a variety of resources ranging from diamonds and uranium. We have lithium and copper and gold, and to mention a few. Yeah.
Wow, it's a very rich country, Namibia.
Thank you.
Could we explore more on the main minerals you have in the country? Because I understand you have all those vast minerals, but could you tell us the main minerals that are contributing to the sector?
That's right. So as I mentioned before, diamonds play a huge role in the economy of Namibia. Namibia is known to be one of the top 5, if not the 5th largest producer of diamonds globally. And we have De Beer, who has partnered with the Republic of Namibia to explore the diamonds and manufacture the diamonds. And then also another leading commodity in Namibia is uranium. We have uranium. When the prices of uranium were high, Namibia was the 3rd largest producer of uranium globally. Unfortunately, as we know, the uranium prices are currently low, so most of the mines are currently in a rehabilitation state, just waiting for the prices to look more favorable so the production can take place. And then also one of the other commodities that we have that are booming right now is, for example, lithium and cobalt that we have. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Tuli.
Thank you.
We all know that most African countries, we have lots of minerals, we have lots of resources, be it oil, be it gas, but in some instances we're faced with a resource curse. In the previous discussions, in the panel discussion we had last time with the people from South Sudan, from Nigeria, we talked about a resource curse, and we realized that many countries, for instance South Sudan, it has lots of oil and gas, but it's still it's undergoing conflict. So we are faced with challenges when it comes to resources. Maybe it's poor governance, political stability, and so many countries tend to miss out on the benefits of their resources, and this definitely destroys the investment climate. Could you please give us an overview of the investment climate in Namibia when it comes to mining?
All right, so as you mentioned about the resource curse, so Namibia is one of the countries in Africa that has managed to avoid the resource curse significantly to a degree. I mean, we still face our own challenges, but Namibia, alongside with Botswana, we have managed to really do well with the resource sector and in terms of also governance. Now, Namibia, in terms of the investment climate, is ranked top 10 countries in Africa for investments in the mineral sector, and this is largely due to, firstly, the political stability that the country has experienced ever since independence in 1990. There has been no conflict of wars or any type of wars ever since independence in 1990, so it's quite peacefully stable and politically stable. And then also it's also largely due to the infrastructure development that has taken place in the country. Namibia is ranked one of the best countries in Africa in terms of infrastructure development, and this is a favorable aspect for mining companies to look to, because infrastructure plays a huge role in their operations. Now, specifically looking to one of the examples of infrastructure, we have our roads. The roads of Namibia are ranked actually the best in SADC. Currently underway, we are busy developing our port so that we can make it the logistic hub of SADC, and this will also increase in regional integration with our neighboring countries. And then also the investment climate is also due to the fiscal regime, which has been relatively stable over the years. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Tuli.
Thank you.
And yes, you have the minerals, you have a good investment climate. Could you tell us more about the opportunities and challenges in the mining sector in Namibia?
So the opportunities, Namibia is faced with a number of opportunities, and the ones that I could highlight right now are, for example, lithium. The demand for lithium is expected to increase in Namibia. This is largely due to the manufacturing or the increase of investments in the lithium ion batteries that will be vehicles, and also that will be used to store electricity for batteries in general. And this in itself presents an opportunity because the lithium industry in Namibia is expected to grow. Also, in effect, as all of these investments are increasing in Namibia for the exploration and the development of new mines, it also increases the revenue generated from these mines that is accrued to the government. So what this does also is that it presents an opportunity for the government to once again use the mineral resource sector as a catalyst for the development of non-mineral resource sectors. By essence, this is increasing the multiplier effect by overarching the mining industry with a broader economy and just harnessing the full potential of the mining sector to make sure that we develop our other sectors. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And what about the challenges?
The challenges that that Namibia faces is, for example, value addition. I mean, we do have some few commodities that are exceptional, like for example our diamonds. We have managed to add value to our diamonds by cutting and polishing. We have managed to add value to our copper by refining it, and our zinc, and also we have managed to really process our uranium ore to uranium oxide. However, we do have other minerals in the country that have a very minimal value addition, and therefore this is a challenge, but also it's an opportunity for the government to really, or not only the government but also the private sector, to really study each commodity within its context and see whether the value addition and investing in upstream and downstream further linkages of these commodities is a viable commercial solution. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Tuli. Definitely, it's very obvious that Namibia is doing very well when it comes to the mining sector, and that is very inspiring for other African countries. We need to invest more in refineries. We need to take issues of value addition seriously, and we also need to invest more in infrastructure so that our people can benefit from the minerals. So recently, we've seen many developments when it comes to regionalism and internationalism. What do I mean by regionalism? We're seeing African countries and other countries globally coming up together and cooperating to solve their problems. be it in the energy sector, because in the energy sector we've already seen lots of regionalism, we've seen lots of initiatives to bring about cooperation among these African countries to solve common energy challenges. But now we're also seeing it in the mining sector with the introduction of the African Mining Vision.
That's right.
Could you please tell us about the African Mining Vision and how Namibia can benefit from this region cooperative mechanism in Africa?
So, as you mentioned, you know, the Africa Mining Vision, just a quick background, the Africa Mining Vision is a shared strategic vision for the entire continent so that we can harness the full potential of our resources, so that we can meet the underdevelopment of our continent, that our continent faces in terms of infrastructure or poverty, to alleviate poverty. Now, the Africa Mining Vision has conceptualized a framework that can be adopted by each country so that we can actually realize the full potential of our resources. Now, the Africa Mining Vision was endorsed in 2008 by the African Union. And in terms of Namibia, the minerals policy of Namibia and the various policies governing the mining sector in Namibia have been endorsed before the Africa Mining Vision, preferably in 2003. So this therefore respectfully presents an opportunity for the mineral policy of Namibia to reform accordingly to the Africa Mining Vision. Why? Because the Africa Mining Vision, one of the key pillars of the Africa Mining Vision is, firstly, it focuses on promoting good governance. Promoting good governance in terms of transparency, in terms of accountability and rule of law. And Namibia, in terms of those three indicators and on a number of global indexes, is doing quite well. However, we do present opportunities to improve in terms of our transparency and accountability and rule of law. Then also another key pillar of the Africa Mining Vision is that it promotes linkages with the mining sector, with the resource sector, and the broader economy. Thereby, it promotes diversification of the economy, diversifying the economy, which therefore promotes the multiplier effect, which in a sense, you will create more jobs, you'll create more indirect and direct jobs from the mining sector. Also, you'll be able to develop other sectors that are not related to the mining industry, thereby creating a sustainable economic development from the mining sector. And then also in terms of infrastructure, as I mentioned before, infrastructure is such a huge challenge in Africa. And Namibia, as I mentioned, we are doing quite well, but there are some areas where we could benefit, where we could better in our infrastructure development. But also, more importantly, one of the key characteristics of the mining sector is that it poses macroeconomic impacts on a country, and which is currently happening in Namibia because of the low, for example, when it comes to uranium, because of the low uranium prices, now the production of uranium in Namibia has dropped, and there was a period where, a number of people, a significant number of people have lost their jobs. So the Africa Mining Vision also, it promotes an economy that bypasses these macroeconomic volatility of prices and production, so that the country can actually safeguard themselves by, once again, diversifying the economy, so that once these prices do fluctuate, we have ensured that, we have managed to develop other sectors, so that once these challenges do come about, the country is stable.
Thank you very much. As she has mentioned, definitely the African Mining Vision presents opportunities for many African countries. We need to unite. We have common challenges in the mining sector.
That's right.
We have common challenges in the energy sector, and we have common challenges in other sectors. These are not challenges one country can overcome on its own.
That's right.
We need this cooperation as Africans.
Mm-hmm.
We need to learn from countries that are doing better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm really very impressed by the developments in Namibia.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the countries we really look at, and we are like, wow, Namibia and Botswana, you're doing well when it comes to the mining sector.
That's right.
And that is something that other African countries can learn from.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have the necessary knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have the necessary experience. We need to find ways of ensuring that the resources benefit our people.
That's right.
And to that regard, what would your advice be to the young Africans out there? Because as you mentioned in the introduction, you have a lot of experience in the mining industry. You are a young African lady,
Yeah.
an engineer, and you've just finished your master's degree.
That's right.
That's something many people are dreaming about. That's very inspirational, and I know many people would be motivated out there, but I'd like them to hear from you.
Yeah. So the advice that I would give young Africans is that our generation of today, or let me start by saying every generation is presented with different opportunities, and every generation had a challenge to solve. So one thing that you need to do as a youth is to ask yourself, what problem are you going to solve as an individual, you know? And based on that reflection, you need to then find out what are the resources around me that I can use to actually harness my potential, you know? So for example, what I did is that I managed to finish high school. I managed to finish my primary school, high school. I managed to go into my undergrad, and my undergrad was financed by the government of Namibia. So once again, you need to look into the opportunities that your government is giving you, or not even in your country, if your neighboring countries or Africa or any funds out there. There are funds everywhere, you know. You just have to access the information and apply, you know. You need to apply yourself. You need to become aware with what is out there in the world. And also, just don't limit yourself, you know. Engineering has always been known to be a male-dominated industry, but if you know that you are ambitious, you know that you can do it, you can go for it, and you also have the support around you. There's nothing that can ever stop you. Yeah.
And what about in terms of work placements or internships? Because I know many people have texted me, especially young Africans. They always send me emails, they send me messages on LinkedIn, they ask me about opportunities, work opportunities. What would you say? Because you are definitely young, you are below 30, and you've had all this experience. So what would you tell them in terms of employment and internships? Because yes, it's good to have the knowledge, it's good to have the education, but you also need to put that knowledge into practice. You need that work experience for you to be able to advance your career life.
That's right.
So what would you advise them?
My advice would be, do not limit yourself within your borders. That's the number one thing, you know. In as much as that's the one thing that I did. That's the reason why I'm here at the University of Dundee. But firstly, before I came here, I worked in Namibia. So what I did is during my undergrad, during my final year of engineering, at the same time while I was busy studying and doing my dissertation, I was busy looking for jobs, you know. I was busy looking for internships. So one of the things is, when you do get into a program and you know that you're about to complete, do not wait for the last minute, but start looking before the completion, you know. And then also, one of the other things that I realized is also, you need to network. You need to be presentable. You need to show that you know what you're doing. You need to be knowledgeable, you know, and you need to really go out there and put out as much as applications as you can. Do not limit yourself, because any experience related to your sector is great, because you can always learn from something, you know. And yeah.
And then maybe I'll also add on the issue of being persistent, because I know most people will be like, no, but I've applied like 1,000 times, I always get rejected. Hey, we all get rejection, but you just have to be persistent. If you get rejected from one company, it's not the end of the world.
That's true.
Apply to another company. Keep trying. And also the other thing I consider important is volunteering.
That's right.
Yes. Because some companies will not have paid internships. You will not get that perfect job from the beginning.
That's true.
But as long as you volunteer somewhere, a place which gives you experience, then that will add on your CV. That will be good experience on your CV. So young people out there, do not give up.
That's right.
Keep pushing. You have to keep moving.
That's right.
And Tuli, now that you're done with your master's degree, what's the way forward?
So the way forward is, I'm just waiting for graduation in November. After graduation, I will be going back home to Namibia to work. You know, I've started looking for placements so that I can start working. But also in the meantime, I'm very interested in furthering my studies and doing a PhD in my field in mining engineering.
Wow, that's very, very great. I wish you the best of luck in your PhD application and process. And I wish you the best, Tuli.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, our viewers. Do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Victoria Nalule. I'll be bringing you more videos concerning the African energy and mining sector. And definitely, she's my first female guest. She is a mining engineer. I know most of you would want to hear from her. So wait for the next topic with Miss Tuli.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.